As the red tide seemingly surged across the global maritime horizon, Western navies faced a new kind of threat. One launched not from gun barrels, but from vertical silos and radar-guided rails. By the late 1950s, the strategic calculus of naval warfare had shifted. Soviet missile boats, bristling with long-range anti-ship and surface-to-air systems, signaled a doctrinal escalation that traditional gun destroyers could no longer counter. In response, the United States Navy commissioned a new class of warship, purpose-built to intercept, deter, and outmatch this rising threat in all of their domains. This doctrinal shift would redefine naval warfare. Born from the ashes of World War II gunboat tactics and forged in the crucible of missile age urgency, the Charles F. Adams guided missile destroyer was born. This ship was not a retrofit or a compromise, it was a clean break from the past. Designed from keel to mast to carry guided missiles, it embodied the West's pivot towards layered defense, rapid response, and technological superiority at sea. No longer would destroyers be relegated to escort duty or gunline support. These were frontline combatants, designed to intercept, deter, and dominate in a world where catastrophic threats lay above and below the ocean. Project SCB-155 took the proven hull of the Forrest Sherman class and stretched it, literally, adding 19 feet to accommodate the ASROC launcher. But the real transformation was doctrinal. With the integration of the RIM-24 Tartar surface-to-air missile system, the Charles F. Adams class became the embodiment of layered defense, anti-air, anti-submarine, and anti-surface capabilities unified in a single hull. Commissioned between 1958 and 1967, the Adams-class destroyers emerged as a bold response to this shift. 29 hulls were laid down, 23 for the United States Navy. The Royal Australian Navy purchased 3 ships known as the Perth class. Australia's acquisition of these 3 vessels represented a decisive pivot from British naval traditions to American interoperability. But there were risks in operating American-designed vessels for a navy using predominantly British-designed ships. When compared to the County-class DDG, the US destroyer was a more proven design, and the Australians needed proven results and thus went with the Adams, fostering a new era of coalition readiness and Australian self-reliance. 3 were constructed for West Germany's Bundesmarine, similarly customized for theatre and named the Lutyens. Each vessel built was proof of a new strategic reality. The age of gunfire was giving way to the precision and reach of guided missiles. Powered by steam turbines, the last of their kind in US destroyer lineage, these ships could surge through contested waters at 33 knots with a cruising range of 4,500 nautical miles at 20 knots. But speed wasn't their defining trait, it was the missiles. The first 13, known as Adams Earlies, were equipped with the Mark 11 twin-arm launchers, and they carried the RIM-24 Tartar and later SM-1. The later ships were fitted with the Mark 13 single-arm launcher, able to fire a variety of munitions including harpoon. The twin 5-inch 54 caliber guns provided traditional firepower, while the RU-R5 ASROC launcher and torpedo tubes did away with clumsy and dangerous depth charge attacks. Their combat record reads like a ledger. The US Adams-class destroyers enforced the Cuban Missile Crisis blockade and patrolled the waters of Vietnam. Australian vessels of the class joined the fray in Vietnam and later served in the Gulf War, proving their relevance across decades. Strategically, the Adams class represented a clear pivot in destroyer doctrine. By prioritizing missile systems over traditional gun batteries, the US Navy signaled its intent to counter evolving aerial and submarine threats with precision and reach. The class also influenced Allied procurement strategies. With standardized designs and capabilities, coalition navies were better equipped to work in tandem and fill operational gaps. In terms of legacy, the Adams class closed out the steam propulsion era for US destroyers, making way for gas turbine-powered successors like the Spruance class. Their long service life underscored their adaptability and relevance. For that reason, the Adams class and the Australian Perth class in particular are some of my favourite warships of all time. Would you like to know more? Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe as we jump in and find out how to play this thing. Hello and welcome back to War Thunder Naval. My name is Ty and today we're looking at a ship that I've been excited to see for many years in War Thunder, the Charles F. Adams guided missile destroyer, the first such ship designed from the ground up to fire those beautiful missiles. I've been looking forward to this ship for a long time. It's not the first time it's been on the channel. I have featured it in my Sea Power content, but it is here now in War Thunder. Now before we start, I'm under no illusions that this is going to somehow win every match or somehow change the dynamics of Naval. It may do, but for me it just offers what I crave for most, which is diversity of play. I've always had the most fun in vehicles that have specialized weaponry and lots of it, because I find the straight gunplay to be kind of stale. And so I've always favored ships that have a variety of weapon systems to utilize so that we can come up with fantastic tactics to bamboozle our enemies. The Charles F. Adams, in terms of weaponry, doesn't bring anything special to the board that we haven't seen before. The RIM 24 has featured on the Douglas, the premium boat for the US coastal tree, but that platform is quite fragile and limited in its ability to launch missiles. This thing's specialized for it, and it shows. The missile is a fantastic thing. It's got pretty good guns. My main gripe with the guns are that the dispersion is pretty bad, and it's almost like, because it's rapid fire, it's just got to be inaccurate, and I find that kind of hard to believe. Dispersion is whack for something that has radar guided shells. Anyway, let's have a look at the modifications here. We have the 5-inch gun, slight upgrade over the World War II shells, a little bit more punch. The 5-inch special Mark 42 SAP shell has a lot of penetration, but its explosive mass is nothing compared to something like the Bravi, its main competitor in the role of the DDG for now. We also have a HEVT shell which has 3.5 kilos of TNT, and as usual, they are pretty good at their role, but they are kind of obsolete when you have a specialized anti-aircraft missile. We also have the Mark 44 anti-submarine warfare torpedo, 54 kilos of TNT. It is worse than the Grisha, which featured the other day on the channel. Honestly, you may not bring them. I always bring them just for emergencies, but they won't be doing much for you at all. The RIM 24, like I said, we've seen it before. It is, in my opinion, the best of the missiles currently available in War Thunder. It has the highest TNT mass, a range of 14 kilometers, which is slightly lower than the Bravi's Volna missile. Here we see the main benefit that we have over the Bravi is that while the Bravi is faster, she is slower to reload her missiles by a significant margin. 54 seconds at the current crew rate, 50 seconds if you are aced. There are only 18 missiles aboard, but she has a better gun system in my opinion. The Grisha has very fast reload rate, but her missiles won't do much to you. One thing I have noticed is that War Thunder now rewards you for shooting down guided missiles. So in these warships, you can now use their armament for defensive means. It's not easy to hit a missile that's not aimed at you, but you can certainly use your SAMs to defend yourself. And I've now realized that the Grisha, if it's up tiered against guided missile destroyers, she will be able to defend herself against their barrage of RIM 24s or Volnas, because she has the fastest missile reload and she can intercept them if they're fired at her. And you will see that today because I tested the capabilities of the missile in that interception role. The ship has a great fire control system, tracking radars for the Tartar. On the back we have fire control system for the guns, and we also have 2 types of air search radar. There is a sonar, but it's not functional. And speaking of sonar and anti-submarine warfare, we also don't have access to the ASROC, sitting proudly there amidships. Now, my ship is dressed up as DD-39 HMAS Hobart, which was a Perth-class destroyer which was basically a subclass, and there are very distinct differences between those ships, so I'm hoping that we will see an Australian Perth class in the UK tech tree, and I'm hoping that we also see the Lutjens in the German tech tree, because both of them very different ships in terms of their design and role and armament. If you've played any of the other missile ships, the first thing you'll notice about the Charles F. Adams is that she sits very high from her observation. The observation point is very high. You can see over a lot of terrain, and that spells doom for coastal boats. These are just bots. Fortunately, I don't feel bad for splatting them, but in a lot of cases you will be able to see coastal boats from the start, and I think that is a bad thing for coastal in general. The missiles themselves are very powerful. During this particular match I forgot to turn on my microphone, so this is post-commentary, and I'm basically just testing the missiles, how they function in the current damage model, because things have changed since I played the Douglas, and I've noticed that the missiles themselves don't do as much catastrophic damage to the target as they used to. You used to be able to inspire the ship to flood rather quickly. That's not the case here. The case of damage is very high damage in a pinpoint precision area. Pretty crappy English, but you understand my point. And so the best targets are the ones where you know where their ammo racks are and where you get that first strike capability on them. The guns themselves at close range within 5 kilometers are serviceable, but like I said, any sort of distance to them and dispersion is very unreliable, and it can be hard to range your target despite having access to a fast rangefinder. In a lot of cases though, you'll just use your missiles, and I recommend you do that because that's the real selling point of this vehicle. And unlike the Grisha, it is extremely easy to unlock this vehicle because it's only 33,000 RP in the blue water tree, and it sits amongst most of the other already standard US destroyers at 5.3. The one thing you'll notice is though, it doesn't really like being shot in the bum, and I would say that it's even more susceptible to rear ammo rack explosions than the Moffat that you see here. The ironic thing about that is, if you want to play defensively, you need to run away, and when you run away, you show your backside. So even with smoke deployed, you can still be one shot by mostly anything with a decent caliber. And that spells doom when you get up-tiered to early dreadnoughts and light cruisers, because you don't have much of an armament to deal with them, but they can kill you as soon as look at you. And so that'll inspire players to play rather defensively. And I guess if you're trying to fit a missile cruiser or a missile destroyer into this meta, you're going to have to expect that this ship has no armor, because armor wasn't a consideration. It was about fighting targets that were a significant distance away compared to World War II. And a lot of the bets were placed on the systems being able to protect the ship rather than armor or anything else. It was a real shift towards maneuver warfare. Here we're facing a light cruiser, and while we are getting through, there isn't quite enough TNT mass for my liking, and in this situation, while we're putting out more shells than the Bravi can, I feel like the Bravi would do more damage. I did some rough maths, and the two guns here are equal to 4 of the World War II guns in terms of shells per minute. And I don't really feel like it does enough damage to run as a gun brawler. And the lack of armor, the very large ship in comparison to World War II destroyers, make you extremely vulnerable to any kind of fire. So I got this map a lot, and it wasn't very fun. It didn't really give me a chance to test out how effective this ship would be. Facing up against the Bravi, they didn't see me. They targeted someone else, so I get first strike, and I get to dictate the battle. Once he's launched his 2 missiles too, unless he's got an ace crew, he's looking at a minute reload, while I can put 6 missiles downrange in the same time. So in terms of sheer missile power, the Charles F. Adams has it. Does it make it a good ship in War Thunder? Time will tell. I had some real trouble overcoming my muscle memory with the Douglas, where I have to shoot the missile over the ship and bring it down onto the target. And so you'll see a lot of my missiles still going high. I'm keeping them high and trying to drop them down on the target, and it wasn't paying off. When I was hitting the ships that I was fighting, I was doing major compartment damage, but I wasn't seeing any of those ammo rack hits that I was used to getting from the Douglas. So there has definitely been a refinement in how much damage they do. This was the first time we've come to Fiji. First target I saw, Bravi in the distance. I'm going to start a missile duel. We've got an island between us. Keep the missiles high so they don't fuse on the trees, and see how we go. It's extremely fun to fire them over the bow too. And it takes a bit of practice to get used to how the missile behaves at certain altitudes and how quickly you move the scope. But like I said, I've got a lot of muscle memory from the Douglas and my time playing EC with that. And so I'm very comfortable using the rim. Aside from my disappointment with how much damage it puts out, this Bravi was too embattled with my allies, and so they didn't really fight back. A nice diversion of the missile into another target that is closer. It is an AI destroyer. And I'm on the hunt for a Project 206 that I spotted. The height of the Charles F. Adams surprised me, and you can basically see into the Bravo point on this map. And I don't know if that's fair. I played this map a few times and I was able to kill coastal boats from the cruiser spawn because I had distance and I also had time to work out how I could get the missile to them. This poor little coastal boat here doesn't know what's coming. I thought I'd missed. I did miss. We fired the second tube. And this time, we really give this fisherman a bad day. I wasn't able to secure the kill, but we made him think twice about his choices in life. Now the shells have a very high arc, so you can feel safe shooting from behind cover. As much as I don't condone that, this sort of ship, that's going to be the primary way to play, is to play as a support ship. If you're rushing caps, then you're going to get gunned down and you're going to be killed very quickly. Naval warfare has always very much been about who could land the first meaningful strike to cripple the enemy, and this era basically dialed that up to 11. It was all about the first strike and oversaturating your enemy's defenses to penetrate deeply through their net and destroy them. And so, like I said, you will need to really balance whether you want to be playing defensively with your missiles or offensively. And the longer I played the ship, the more bad guys with missiles that I saw. Now, anyone on the other team's always a bad guy in my book, so sorry for my friends that I fight regularly. But as at this point, I realized that I've been talking to myself for about an hour, and I turned on my microphone. So, enjoy the content, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll hand you over to my previous self. Pre-fired that missile because I knew he was coming around the corner. We almost had a chance to intercept. I want to try and intercept something today. But every missile destroyer that we have faced thus far has been trying to hit easy targets and ignoring their own safety. Aiming for the rear ammo rack here, the missile rack, so that'll stop their reload process till they've repaired it, and then they'll need to continue that. They're taking a lot of gunfire, so we're really just assisting here. I've noticed these missile destroyers are very much support ships, and you will farm a lot of assists before you get major kills. But I have started to work out how to effectively strip a ship. And I really think that these ships are now making coastal boats in an up tier a complete obsolete thing of the past. And I'm apologizing in advance before I hit this guy, because he is a player. Sorry, Tombstone. Name checks out. We're having a bad day today. These cruisers are... As soon as I launch a missile, you are threat number one. And you damn easy to kill. I've been trying to perfect firing the missile and the guns at the same time, but your target has to be very still, and so do you. And we're dead. Oh, this is going to be a death bowl. Destroyers all pointing at each other. We have missiles already in the air. One Charles F. Adams confirmed. He's just fired his second missile, I believe. And it's coming right for us. Nope. He took out the Iron Army almost instantly. We have 2 confirmed Adams versus me. So we're just playing defensively. Trying to get some points before we get blown up. Fortunately, they're targeting all the AI ships before me. We're going to try and get a sneaky hit here on the rear missile tube. No, we're going to divert here towards the Procurement. Aiming for the main crew compartment. 40% damage. It's okay. Nothing major. Alright, missile away. We're just playing defensively with our missiles. Try the intercept. He's aiming for us. And we got it. We earned some SL and some RP. But we are out of missiles. That was my second one, so he gets a free hit on us. We've been oversaturated after one intercept. This ship's so tall, it's like a cruiser. You can just launch your missiles over cover and still have a line of sight. Not having much luck aiming for these crew compartments. Fire over the cover, try and hit this guy while he's exposed. So watch this. I'm facing a cliff and can still engage him. The irony about that death was, I thought I couldn't be seen behind the cliff, but the Colne still managed to kill me. I don't know how he did it. Intercept, we have a second missile here, and we're just going to neutralize his attack completely. There we go, we can farm some SL firing missiles. I hope it's cheap. I hope you earn more than the missile costs. We are playing at 5.3, but it's a down tier, so we've got lots of Russian coastal boats around, and we're just going to splat them from the safety of the back line. There is a couple of SKRs that I want to send a present to. I think this is a French ship. Not so familiar with the silhouette. It looks like the Hoquim from the US, but I don't think it is. Ah, Le Intrepid. RBU launch detected. There's definitely RBUs on the scope. Fire! Let's try and intercept one. Let's try and stop the barrage. Oh! We fused the missile. I'm not sure if it was on the RBU, but I'm going to think that it was. There is the culprit. He's about to have a bad day through that front magazine. Oof. Don't mind me, I just ran ashore, but there is another SKR currently engaged. Perfect attack. Well, let's fire. Now this ship is very long and it has pretty low acceleration. Splat. And because it's so long, when you turn you lose a lot of speed due to the hydro braking effect. So it is hard to maneuver around. I'm going to blame that. But I can safely say now that heavy bombers are completely obsolete. You will not be able to use them anymore in Naval. Never again will the Ur dominate with its big bomb. Well, it still makes pretty fireworks. We have destroyers, and what looks to be an Omaha class, so we are at least 5.3. We have a missile ship. The Adams is firing at someone, not at us, that's good. Let's try and get first strike on him. He's He's exposed his broadside. We're going to aim for that rear rocket turret. Here we go. Pixel placement. Perfect. Please. Everyone loves alliteration. Here we go. The silhouette of the missile launcher was apparent against that splash, and we managed to nail it. We've got a Douglas in the match too, so it is a missile slinging affair. That's a missile. Too late to launch a counter missile. Turning in. Whoa! It's got a tsunami behind it. We took a bit of crew damage, but nothing major. We just want to keep that rear rack safe. And we're going to send a counter reply. That flooding has been repaired. He has turned a bit for us, exposing that rear rack. Can we get it? The angle, I don't like it. No. Not good enough with the placement of the cursor. And here is his reply. I would love to deploy some chaff right now, but we're just going to launch a counter missile. Because our backside is going to be peeking out still. And the intercept was successful. And now, because we've been having a missile fight, everyone knows I'm here. And we are struggling to make it to top speed. I'm in extreme danger right now. I've had to run away. My backside is showing. And they are saying yes, please. They want a piece. I have blocked my own line of sight there, missing with the missile, and he's hit us in the backside. That cyber psycho strikes again. Take 2. We spawned in the worst area now. The missile duel is still going. The Douglas is still alive. I don't know how. He keeps sticking his nose out, firing a missile. He's only got 4, so I don't know what he's doing about that. Wasn't able to intercept that missile, heading for Makuma. Missiles flying everywhere. He's not targeting us. We get a free shot, but I believe there's a missile coming towards us. I think I just saw the reflection. There comes the dot over the cliff, but I have to lock on my target. There it is. Hit us in the engine compartment. I could see the dot coming. I'm not sure if that'll translate across to YouTube. Oh god. I feel so sorry for this guy. He got his bombs away, so he's got that consolation. Messerschmitt 264 about to explode 50 kilos of TNT right into his soft underbelly. And of course, I didn't even consider it. The only thing you can do against cruisers will be to shoot down their scout planes. But that's okay, because it's a clash of the eras, and I guess modern vehicles shouldn't always be better. So it is humbling. And I'm sure it feels good to be in a World War I era cruiser and be able to splat something modern. We're holding on. Only a few tickets left. My favorite type of gunfight is the one where they don't know I'm in it. Try and take out his ammo rack. Take out his missiles. Oh, I just can't get these guns to work for me yet. It's most certainly a skill issue, and I'll get used to them. Alright, we've given enough time to warn his friend. He's looking right at us. Let's aim for the rear rack and see if we can beat them off to the punch. And I think that'll do us for today. So if you've liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and while you're at it, check out one of my other videos about modern ships. We've got a whole heap of sea power content that you could check out if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, check out my video about the Douglas.